Welcome to the third module, using reports and dashboards. So in this video, we're going to talk about exploring report data. Now let's bring up a report. We're still in our dashboard. To access the underlying report in any of these components, click on the link in the lower left-hand corner of the component. That's just going to take us to our report. You could also view reports by going to the Reports tab. Now, this is not the edit screen of the report. This is the user side. This is the viewing side of the report, but there's still a lot of functions that you can interact with. They're just not going to get saved. So if you click the edit button in the upper right-hand corner, that'll take us to the edit screen. You can make changes. You can save it for everybody. If you don't hit edit, you can still explore the data. So one way to explore the data is to use these columns in the lower left-hand corner. It's pretty common that you'll want to turn off detail rows to see just that summary data like we saw before, or you might want to turn off the grand total or subtotals to simplify it even further. What you can also do is click into the report chart, and that's going to filter the rows that you see beneath you. So let's say we're looking at September 2019, and I hover over the closed one area. If I click on that, that's going to filter down. So we're just looking at the September 2019 grouping. And I'm going to turn detail rows back on. There's all of our opportunities from September 2019. Click on that section again, and it'll unfilter, and we're looking at the full data again. That's a great way to just dig into different sections if ever you need extra detail. Other things you can do is change the chart. So you can click that chart properties in the upper right-hand corner, and you have the same options that you had in the edit screen. But again, any changes that you make here, they're just not going to be saved. They're useful for exploring the data to try and understand what it means. It's not going to actually save to the record in the future. Same thing with the filters button in the upper right-hand corner. You can change a lot of these filters, and you can even see your linked filters. So let's talk about linked filters for a second. So you can see here that the close date needs to be greater or equal than January 1st, 2019, and less than December 31st, 2019. So this filter followed us from the dashboard because we had a dashboard filter on the component. When you click through to the report, that dashboard filter actually follows you, and that's why it's a linked filter here. The data that we were looking at originally is only the 2019 data. So it's something just to be careful of. If you're exploring information at the dashboard level, then you go to the report level, you might still have those linked filters applied, but you can take them off by hitting the remove button. Similarly, if I were to filter this by October 2019, we just have this section. On the right-hand side, you can now see the chart filters that are applied. And if I were to click edit from here, those chart filters are going to be applied in the edit. So if you come to the filters here, here's our two chart-based filters that have been applied. You can see these filters are saying we're just looking at data from October 2019. So be careful if you're exploring the data and then you go into the edit. If I hit save, that's going to update our report. And then you're only going to be looking at data wherever that report is used for 2019, which you probably do not want. So be in one mode or the other. Either be in the edit screen to update that report wherever it's used, or be in the viewer side where you're exploring that data, but you have no intention of saving it. I'm going to click discard here. The next thing I want to talk about is subscribing to these reports and dashboards. If you click the drop-down arrow in the upper right-hand corner, you'll see a subscribe option. Click on that, and you can get an email at a set schedule that has this report attached. It could be weekly, daily, monthly. Set the days you want to get this report emailed to you. And you can even have that report attached. You click attach file, you can choose a formatted report or the details only. So formatted is going to include those groupings that you've created, and details only is going to be like a CSV. It's going to be just the rows of the information that you've got. If you choose formatted, you could only use the Excel format. If you choose a details only option, you can select the comma separated value, the CSV option. And then under recipients, you can choose who you want to send this to, yourself, or you can add other users as well. Really great for, say, Monday morning, delivering the reports to the people that need to see them right in their email if they don't always log into Salesforce. And finally, what you can do with these alerts is set up conditions. So if this report triggers a certain condition, it will be emailed out. So you might want to do that if we've got a certain amount goal. Maybe if we're not hitting our minimum for revenue or pipeline, you might want to send out that report as an email to alert the people that can change things to help you hit that goal. So we could say if the sum of amount is less than our goal of, I'll put a little bit lower, 400,000, then we want this email to be sent. This is a really easy way to make sure that the right people are getting notified if the metrics are not trending in the correct direction. Or the other way around. Maybe you've had an amazing month and you want to celebrate it. And so when you hit a certain goal, that email goes out to notify and show people that that metric's been hit. This process is very similar for dashboards. Click on the Dashboards tab to bring up the dashboard we've been working on, and you've got a subscribe button in the upper right-hand corner here as well. Now, what you don't have is the ability to attach the report to the email that's being sent. Because we have multiple reports typically, different components, there's no file that'll be attached to the email. Instead, what you're going to get is an email that has an image of each of those components so you can view directly in the message what each of those charts look like. So that's going to do it for exploring data in reports and dashboards. In our next video, I'll show you how to export it and a couple things to keep in mind. I'll see you in the next lesson.